Here we go. What's up, YouTube? We got some Accolonn reacts again. I might stop if if in this video he's still shilling for WoW the way he's been shilling since Dragonflight basically was announced. I'm gonna stop watching Accolonn. It's getting a bit annoying, to be honest. But first, before we react, as always, we're gonna go through the comments. Malfurion has been the most neglected of the Warcraft 3 characters. Everyone else has had their time in the sun, some more than others, but in World of Warcraft, Malfurion has never been used properly. Dude, honestly, Malfurion should have died for Taldrassil. I could be upset another legacy character is chucked off, but after Shadowlands, we see no one is truly gone. Death has no weight, it's just a quick tap out in this universe. Yeah, he's just being relocated, guys. I don't mind killing off characters as long as it feels real and impactful. If they hamfist Malfurion's death, it would be more than stupid given how he's so historically baked into WoW. But never liked Malfurion, not gonna lie. Looking forward to Dragon Isles, but I don't see the motivation for Malfurion to end himself for the seed. I thought the seed was to grow another tree of life, but I believe the Night Elves wouldn't get their immortality back. So even less reason to trade the God King. The God King. In Legion, Ysera turned, we killed her. The video invoked the emotion. Then once we had let her go in Legion, in Shadowlands, helped bring her back. Let's take the same portal back that we do. Or I would have thought Ysera's daughter would take up the mantle. Or am I off on a crazy... This whole, like, Ysera reincarnations shit is gonna be so fucked up. I love it. Alright, let's see. This is more lore stuff about Dragonflight, because the lore in Dragonflight is the Noozer's baby. So it's gonna be so good. Alright, let's see. Most useless character. This is honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I 100% guarantee this is because of woman empowerment bullshit that's going on. Malfurion's just standing at the back of Tyrande. And not to say Tyrande is not strong. She is, sure. But Malfurion should not be standing behind her. Malfurion is technically stronger, lore-wise. And I'm not saying he should stand in front of her. He should at the very least stand beside her. Not behind her. At, like, the very least.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Accolonn here, of course. Welcome back to each and every one of you. Today,
these things are so spicy.
In spoilers, and business is a booming.
Yeah,
yes, if you don't want spoilers, now would be the time to click off. Because what we're about to discuss today is going to have potentially...
Oh, who gives a shit about spoilers? I mean, especially with WoW lore, I mean, let's be real.
Massive future implication for the story, and it could actually be somewhat world-shattering and definitely divisive.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not going to like this.
We're
going to get into the spoilers in a minute. Remember the deal. If you like what I have to say, if by the end of the video you go, Accolonn, you know what? I'm on board with everything you have to say. You hit the like button. If not, you hit the dislike button and we forget this ever happened. If you've already hit the like button, you're a little rebel, and I love you. Thank you so much for that. Remember, if you really want to be a degenerate, you can join us over on Twitch, Patreon, or become a YouTube member. All degenerates are always loved on this channel. And with that said, let's get into it.
I'm a different type of degenerate.
So I could do the whole, let's talk for 5 minutes about random stuff, keep you in suspense, but I'm not gonna. Let's talk about Malfurion, Tyrande, and Ysera.
Yep.
The immediate spoilers before we get into the discussions around it is simple. Malfurion will be the one to give his life for Ysera to
Why? Okay, let's see how they justify this, but like, why?
return as the aspect. Now, this comes thanks to data mined quest text, or I guess quest conversation around bringing Ysera back. The data mined version of this was found on Reddit first. It has since been confirmed by Ian Bates, I believe, over on Rachel Guy over on Twitter, and it's been making the rounds. It's been making massive headlines throughout the WoW community, with, as you can imagine, the WoW community being split, to say the very least. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that come out of this conversation that we will be touching on today. But the short gist of it is that Ysera needs to come back to be the green aspect.
Why? Why?
Again, we were told when the Winter Queen handed the Tear of Accolonn to Tyrande, and Ysera spoke to Tyrande, telling Tyrande to take the tear to her daughter. We were told that there would have to be a sacrifice. At the time, though, Tyrande didn't seem too bothered by this sacrifice. She was willing to pay that price. Of course, she didn't understand what that price would mean. And Malfurion says that it is him. He is the one that needs to sacrifice himself in order for Ysera to come back. And this is where we get to...
Again. No. Okay, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Let's go through it again.
Today. But the short gist of it is that Ysera needs to come back to be the green aspect.
No one knows why,
Again. We were told when the Winter Queen handed the Tear of Accolonn to Tyrande, and Ysera spoke to Tyrande, telling Tyrande to take the tear to her daughter. We were told that there would have to be a son.
Okay, so. God damn, this shit is spicy. Okay, so, let me get this straight. So, the trade-off will happen later. And the trade-off would be Malfurion resurrecting Ysera for the tier that she's getting now. Is that what it is? Why couldn't they do the trade on the spot?
Sacrifice. At the time, though, Tyrande didn't
Wait,
seem
also,
to...
why is the Tear of Accolonn Shadowlands? Wait, how did the Tear of Accolonn get to Shadowlands? Huh? Did I miss something? Okay, whatever.
Bothered by this sacrifice. She was willing to pay that price. Of course, she didn't understand what that price would mean. And Malfurion says that it is him. He is the one that needs to sacrifice himself in order for Ysera to come back. And this is where we get to the first really interesting bit. Malfurion speaks of fate. Now, fate has been brought up before in World of Warcraft.
It's a cruel
very
mistress.
Recently, actually, I believe during Legion, we found out for the first time that fate may be an entity. At some point, I can't remember the exact source, so please do not quote me. I might be wrong, or you can let me know in the comment section if you remember. But I believe at some point they were talking about the Sisters of Fate.
Yeah, there was
specifically as if this is an entity in World of Warcraft. So fate isn't just the thing, you know. Everyone knows what fate is. Fate is our lives, and if something happens, it's either fated or it isn't. In World of Warcraft, it seems like fate is an actual thing, and that fate requires certain things. Now, Malfurion explains to Tyrande that when Ysera died in Val Shara, when she gave her life to try and save Malfurion...
Okay. Let's be real. She didn't give her life. She just forgot to put on some armor with the dodge stat because, bro, how do you not dodge that shit?
It was not her time. It was not her fate. But
clearly it was.
Fate seems to be happy. You know, fate required a life that day. It didn't get the life that it wanted, but a life is a life, and that fate will settle for that. But now we're looking to reverse what have happened there. Fate is about to lose a life, and for Fate, this is unacceptable. Fate, the
thing is, Ysera didn't die for Malfurion, though. Ysera died because she's incompetent. It's not like he was holding Malfurion hostage and he said, it's your life or his. She didn't really sacrifice herself for him. She was just dumb enough to fly in a straight line.
Demands that a life be traded for a life, and in this instance, fate does not require just any life. Fate requires the life that was meant to be sacrificed on that day.
Sure.
In other words, Malfurion. He has to be the one to give.
Thing is, Malfurion could have died regardless of this act. Because while we were dealing with her, Malfurion was inside the dungeon being tortured. He could have died at any second anyways. So again, her sacrifice is not the trade-off. It doesn't make a lot of sense that her sacrifice is the trade-off. Maybe like the other night elves that died throughout this were the trade-off. Or like they're just as irrelevant as Ysera for this. Like what?
Give his life. In this, very interesting.
Is it?
First and foremost, it suggests maybe that originally Blizzard did want Malfurion to die. All the way back then, or more specifically,
the Sisters of Fate are like 3 LGBT community members on the Blizzard writing team. Sisters of Fate.
Perhaps Malfurion's story was supposed to be a lot bigger than what we got in the subsequent expansions. Because if you think about it, why save Malfurion on that day, when since then Malfurion has genuinely not
been
done
useless
much.
Yeah.
Malfurion have, for the most part, even in the book Shadows Rising, Malfurion sits there quiet. He doesn't even...
So their plan was, because Malfurion was supposed to die that day, that was when his story was supposed to end. But because it didn't, Fate didn't write a story for him for the future, so he was useless for the whole thing. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, the writers thought so far ahead, and then they're like, okay guys, like we have nothing for him, let's just kill him off. Okay, yeah, I believe that. I can see that as the lore justification of everything that's happening.
Didn't really speak in the book, so clearly Blizzard had a plan maybe for Malfurion, but that plan never really came to fruition, and so now Malfurion is about to die. If you've been following this channel for a while now, and you've been paying attention, and more specifically if you've been a supporter of the channel, you would have heard me say this many times before. Malfurion's story was supposed to come to an end actually a while ago, right before Shadowlands launched. Myself and some of the mods on the channel had conversations with insiders at Blizzard, and we were able to gauge some of the potential future stories that would have played itself out in Shadowlands. One of these stories is the story of Malfurion's death. Now, at the time, the idea was actually a lot more dramatic. The idea that they had at the time was that Tyrande would be the one to kill Malfurion. And it would come, actually very specifically, Malfurion would stop Tyrande from taking Sylvanas' life. You guys remember the cinematic where Elune withdraws her power from Sylvanas, or from Tyrande, at the moment that Tyrande is about to kill Sylvanas? The essence of that cinematic was supposed to be Malfurion. He would have been the one to stop Tyrande, but in her fit of rage, she actually kills Malfurion because he is standing between her and her prey. Now, Malfurion stops Tyrande because Malfurion recognizes that Sylvanas' story is not yet over. Sylvanas' role in the fate of the universe is not yet done.
So, okay, so let's say that was the original plan, right? Let's say. First of all, how does Malfurion know that? Okay. Second of all, how would he... Okay, he would stop Tyrande and she would kill him. That is given that he was the one who died in Legion instead of Ysera. Right? So then he would be in the Shadowlands, and then she would turn him into Anima. That's like even worse way to kill off such a long time fucking character. Died to his love. I don't know, man, like... Yeah, sounds like Game of Thrones. All right, I guess.
And
Season
in
8.
this, we are going to speculate in a second, but Malfurion dies, and this is the moment where Tyrande actually rejects Elun's power. That sorrow,
can't.
that heartbreak of realizing what she had done.
She can't reject that power, though. Like, she gained that power, she can't reject it. She, like, unless Elun ejects it from her, she will be consumed by it, right? Like, that was the bargain. She can't just reject the power out of nothing. I guess maybe that's why they didn't go with this story, because it wouldn't make sense. Like, if she can turn it off at any point, it's like, well, there wasn't much of a sacrifice, was there?
Is too much for her, and she ultimately ends up rejecting Elun, and this was supposed to, at least according to sources, it was supposed to kick off this massive storyline around Tyrande, Elun, and Elun's relationship with the Night Elves in general. There were some rumors that we would have uncovered that Elun actually sacrificed the Night Elves with the burning of Tildris.
I mean, she did. It wasn't pretty much said that she sent her most devout followers to the Shadowlands, except that they went to the Maw instead of to Ardenweald.
Seal for some purpose. So there were a lot of storylines, and also I think in this I should throw in the original storyline for the Shadowlands was also meant to be a lot darker. It was actually meant to be a lot deeper. This is why.
Shocker. 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 Oh my god, bro. Every expansion this story is supposed to be deeper and barely penetrates, like, you know, when, like, imagine you have like a dick the size of a fucking AAA battery, right? And it's like she tells you to go deeper, but you can't. Yeah, that's pretty much WoW storytelling in a nutshell.
Ian and Danusa and everyone before the Shadowlands kept saying things like, oh, Sylvanas really is a grey character, you know, morally grey. You guys won't understand now because you've only seen half of the picture. You haven't seen the full picture yet. And then, of course, we saw the full picture. And Sylvanas, it wasn't just that they failed to portray her as a morally grey character.
She wasn't.
It's that her actions are not morally grey. So clearly there was a rewrite at some point that decided to go...
Okay, so technically I would say she was, in the grand scheme of things, like, I'm talking like thousands of years into the future, she would be viewed, if she succeeded, as morally grey. She plays the villain. Again, this is what, like, you can interpret it as. I'm not saying that's actually what happened, but you can interpret it as she plays the villain for the greater good. Because the system of death is broken, whatever, the jailer's supposed to fix it so that when you die, it actually, like, you don't go and be enslaved by some covenant and do their bidding, and etc, etc, etc. That's like, there's a proper system in place for afterlives, maybe reincarnation or something. I don't know what the big plan was, right? But either way, because right now, like, if a person dies, right, and he's like, gets convinced that he should be a bluether, it's like a blue guy, and it's like, forget all of his memories, that sucks. If he goes to Ardenweald, he becomes a fucking flower or tree hugger, or like any shape or whatever, to take care of the garden. Becomes a farmer, basically. Or if you don't want to be a farmer in, like, once you die, like, let's say you were a farmer in your previous life, and you were sick of it, and you couldn't wait to die to move on to something else, then you go to Ardenweald and you become a farmer again. That sucks. It's like... And then Ravendreth and all that stuff, right? It's like, maybe, like, I think the only one that was like a good afterlife is what do you call it? The warrior one, the spy one, the undead one. What do you call that area? Jesus Christ, completely forgot. Maldraxxus. Maldraxxus was the only one that made the most sense to me, because if you're a true warrior and you just love fighting, Maldraxxus is the place for you. So it's like, even in the afterlife, that's actually like if you're a Viking, you go to Maldraxxus. Like, you get to fight all the time. That's the only one that was like kind of like, this place kind of works. Everything else was kind of shit. It's like as an afterlife. So in that sense, she's morally gray because like she's doing very evil stuff, right? Kills a lot of people, but in the grand scheme of things, these like they're not actually dead, right? They are, you know, they go to their own places. Obviously, they were used as fuel in Torghast, whatever. But it's like again the end justifies the means kind of thing. And it's like the end was supposed to be a very happy place for people to like live and to die, to move on to the next phase. Meanwhile, wasn't really exactly how it was portrayed. We don't really know what the jailer's plan was, what his fix was supposed to be. He was like, I know he wanted to enslave everyone for reasons, but like even let's say, what did she think the jailer wanted to do? We don't know that. What did she think that like the jailer is capable of changing? What did she think the end goal is gonna look like for her to do these actions? That was never portrayed. So all of her actions just became, you know, an egotistical kind of way of doing everything. Right? It's like, I don't know. Either way, yeah, they did not write the story at all. They didn't have, I don't even think they knew what the jailer promised her in terms of like how it would be different if he got the power.
Go a completely different direction, which then sort of makes all the preceding storylines feel a little bit less than. But you know, that's just my opinion. Maybe you loved the fact that there was a rewrite. Maybe you're listening at the direction they originally wanted to take it, and you think, "Oh my god, that would have been worse." So you know, I don't know. For me, I think that would have.
The problem is like, even if the idea is nicer, like Malfurion is the one who stopped Tyrande, there's so many strings attached to that before that even happens. That means Shadow Legion had to change. That means BFA had to change. That means like so many things would have had to change just for that one moment in Shadowlands where Tyrande kills Malfurion. That could have been a lot worse scenario. But again, the story is in such a shitty... Like, listen to this. If the story is shit now and this is the better option, imagine how shit the story would be with the worse option. Yeah, no.
Been so dramatic. Maybe a little bit bad, but so dramatic. Let's talk about quickly the community and the outrage there, because the community clearly not very happy, as you can imagine. Many people are angry. I think Blizzard have always had a real big problem with writing Malfurion.
You know what the worst part is? That the community even knows about this. Straight up. I don't care about spoilers and stuff, but okay, here's the thing. Let's not talk about the speculations he had with his friends. Let's just talk about this. Malfurion sacrifices himself for Ysera, which is supposed to be, might be a big moment, right? And now there's a community outrage because of the leak. Now, the people who are writing this might be, and I'm not giving them credit, trust me, I really don't think the WoW team can write a story to save their own life. But what I think is, now it would be even worse than what it would have been if they had the freedom to just write it, because now they're under the pressure of the community raging over this thing. It's like, what do you mean kill Malfurion to save Ysera? Who gives a shit about a green lizard? Just let her daughter be an aspect. And also, the people who say her daughter can't be an aspect, it has to be Ysera, last time I checked, Rathian wants to be an aspect for the Black Dragonflies, as far as I understand it. So, and also Caligos is going to be the aspect of the Blue Dragonfly. He's not the original. He's not the original aspect. So you can be someone else and is the aspect. You don't have to be that one, like the one specifically. And also, this like I don't even get this whole like. When there's an eclipse once every 5,000 years you can become an aspect. Like, wasn't them becoming aspects a gift from the Titan representatives? Not even the actual Titans, just like the Odin, the Loki, all those guys, Loken, all these guys. So it's like, did they use the power of the moon? Because now they're gonna throw in Elune into this. Like, the power of the moon is what gave them the power of the aspects. And it's like, Not how it was in the story. Just saying, that's not the history.
For good reason. I think shattering the dreams and hopes of all classes that aren't druids, Malfurion isn't just powerful. Malfurion is effectively Madan levels of powerful.
Whoa. Okay. No. Not even close. And also, Malfurion lost to... what's his name? Xavius. Not even real Xavius. A shadow of Xavius. Give me a break. Madan level of fucking powerful? Well, then again, wasn't Madan kidnapped by Cho'Gall, but wasn't he like a babe at that point? So it's hard to say.
Lore-wise, if we're really going to do a one-for-one comparison, there isn't really any character that can stand against Malfurion. Malfurion literally has the power...
Bro, come on. No way a druid takes out a paladin that fast, okay? He will, but not that fast.
Power of Azeroth herself. He has the power of nature. Malfurion is incredibly strong. And so Blizzard have always had to find ways of almost pretending or sort of circumventing his power levels in a way to make him seem a little bit more mortal, so that, you know, he doesn't just walk into a battlefield and just destroy things, just completely end the war. If Blizzard were to treat Malfurion the way that he's supposed to be, and the power levels that he should have, Sylvanas and the Horde would have attacked Teldrassil, Malfurion would have walked out, and he would simply have killed the army of the Horde. It's as simple as that.
Meanwhile, he barely held Sylvanas off. She didn't even use the powers from the jailer at that point. And come on, he was defeated by Saurfang's like axe. He's not that powerful. Okay, get over it. Illidan is more powerful, just like based on World of Warcraft, like the way they portray their characters. What is he supposed to be? Whatever, doesn't matter. Action speed louder than words. And bro, this guy lost to Xavius. This guy has always been losing. He lost to Saurfang. He was useless in the Emerald Nightmare. Like, he barely did anything. Bro, like, this guy's fucking weak, man.
He would have
for what he's supposed to be, he's really weak. Khadgar can beat his ass.
The vines and the trees rise up
Not
and
said
just
Khadgar is weak.
destroy Sylvanas' army, and they never
right.
killed Sylvanas because nature literally does his bidding for him.
No.
So Malfurion, a little too powerful, and that might be why Blizzard have always had this really hard time bringing Malfurion into the game. There are books where Malfurion is incredible, but in the game, Blizzard have always had a very difficult
dog shit in the game.
sort of relationship with Malfurion. And I think it's been clear.
Not just in WoW, by the way, in Warcraft 3 also. He wasn't much stronger than any other hero champion, you know? Like, not even close. I know at some point, I think he got some buff in WoW compared to, like, his Warcraft 3 self, but, like, I think it was during, no, actually, no idea when he got powerful. But, yeah, he was never very impressive. The only thing, so here's the thing. Which one's the real Malfurion? The Malfurion from the games, Warcraft 3 and WoW, or the Malfurion from the books? It's like, that was like one book that showed that Malfurion is like really fucking strong. All the others like just kind of like don't mention it. And in the game, he's really not that strong overall. Like, he's strong compared to like a regular character or like whatever. Yeah, he's a hero character, sure. But it's like overall, it's not that strong. There's so many more entities that are way stronger than him. So it's like, I kind of believe the game stuff more than I believe the book. The one book that talks about how strong Malfurion is. I think that whole book is probably called Tyranda's Dream, maybe? Tyranda's Fantasy?
That Malfurion's story is at an end. There's been multiple times now where Malfurion have either been left in the background, not really featuring. Whenever you need him, he's sleeping somewhere.
Yeah.
And the one time that he did feature, he was basically at death's door for most of that. And now Blizzard is sort of circling
Twice.
back and saying, right, you remember the time that he was at death's door? Yeah, it's kind of over now. You know, this is the time for him to die. Kind of. This is why I have such a big problem with Shadowlands, because prior to Shadowlands,
Not
if you
only
told
that, sorry, I'll move it back a bit so he can get his full point across. But how many of the original Warcraft 3 characters do we have left? Sylvanas is gone for a bit. Illidan is up in space, so he's gone for a bit. You only have Thrall and Jaina left, really, right? From the original Warcraft 3. Like, Rexar is there, but it's like, yeah, whatever. Who else? I think that's it, right? Uther's gone. Yeah, it's just Jaina and Thrall. So I bet next expansion or the expansion after, something's gonna happen those two. Even though, like, it's hard to say in Dragonflight something will happen between these two, but maybe the expansion after that. Just like, it's time to retire, guys. It's time to, you know. But I would say the most iconic characters for Horde and for Alliance are Jaina and Thrall. Like, by far, it's Jaina and Thrall. Mostly because the battle for Hyjal. I would say that. Because they represented the leaders of the faction, right? So
is the time for him to die. Kind of. This is why I have such a big problem with Shadowlands, because
is it?
prior to Shadowlands, if you told me that Malfurion was gonna die, I would have been quite upset. Because
now
Malfurion,
you don't care.
You know,
Now you don't care if he dies.
He's been a part of this franchise and the story for such a long time. To just see him be removed would have been horrible. But now, after seeing the Shadowlands, not that bad. So he's going to go to Arnweald. He's going to chill there. He's going to be a demigod and shit. You know, he's probably going to be back at some point, right? He's going to go to Arnweald. He's almost definitely going to become a demigod because he is super powerful.
Yeah.
And then he's going to come back and he's just going to be chilling. So, yeah.
They're gonna, like, when Blizzard will run out of ideas, they're gonna make, then we're gonna make the expansion called World of Warcraft, the GOAT. And you're gonna get back Illidan. You're gonna get back Malfurion. You're gonna get back Sargeras. You're gonna get back... Fuck, I want to say Arthas, but that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna get back Uther instead. Sylvanas will come back. Because they're all alive somewhere, right? So it's like, Yrel will be there, apparently. Fuck it. Gromash, right? Gromash will come back from Draenor. Even though he might be dead. I don't know. I think Yrel maybe killed him by now. But, like... Yeah, you're gonna have just like the GOAT expansion where like they're just gonna be the greatest of all time. It's funny, like nostalgia overload. Just bring every character that people loved ever, and that's it.
Yeah, you know, it kind of gave us a look behind the veil of death, and we realized it's not.
Oh, and Kel'Thas will be back. Kel'Thas is not dead. Well, he's dead, but like he's not gone, kind of thing. So like, yeah, he'll be chilling in Ravendreth for now, and then like he'll be back to fuck it.
That bad. This is also why the original story of the Shadowlands intrigued me so much.
Yeah.
Until I realized that massive rewrites were happening. It was meant to be a lot darker. The whole Sylvanas as a morally grey character was actually meant to be that. We were supposed to discover that the Shadowlands is not as just as it claims to be. And we were actually at some point, I think, this is just me thinking about it.
I still don't think the Shadowlands is just meant to be. First of all, the zones are way too small for housing the amount of souls that they're supposed to be housing. Like, let's just start with that, okay? It's like... I mean, bro, like, Bastion can only house so many disciples, you know? Yeah, it's... There's no way there's only like 4 zones in the Shadowlands. There has to be way more. Or, you know what they should have done? Which never happens in Blizzard because everything you can see you can go to, so that's probably why they don't do it. But like every zone should have had like we just go to the upper level where like the leaders are, because we are visitors and like we escaped them all, so we're important and shit. But it's like you should see like levels of other like of more of Ardenweald like at the bottom and shit like that. Like more gardens, more this, more that. Same with like Bastion, more places where like they learn and shit. Same with all of them, right? Like divisions. So it's like that would make more sense. Like, and it would be like look kind of endless. So it's like it can house all those souls and shit. But yeah, that didn't happen. So whatever. It's just this tiny little zone houses billions, gazillions of souls from all across the universe. Yeah, sure.
Based on what Ian and the team had to say before and then after Shadowlands, at some point we probably were supposed to swap to help Sylvanas take down the Shadowlands. Maybe not help Zuval, but definitely help Sylvanas take down the Shadowlands. This is why Sylvanas also tells the Loyalists, when next you see me, you will understand. And then, of course, when we next saw her, we still didn't quite understand. So, you know, I would have preferred the darker writing.
Bullshit.
As most of you know, I still don't trust the Eternal Ones. I still think they're evil.
I'm not gonna lie. Based on this cinematic, I actually consider Uther to be more evil than Arthas. With everything Arthas has done, at least he has the excuse of being controlled or like strong power of suggestion from the Helm of Domination and the Lich King and Zoval, whatever, sure. Compared to Uther, who just threw his disciple because of some chest pain into the fucking maw, into hell itself. Which, by the way, honestly, the reason it's hell is because of the dailies, not so much because like you're being tortured in there. So.
Even though the story does not reflect that, I think it would have been much better if they were evil. Anyways, I wanted to bring you guys this spoiler, potential spoiler, because right now it is sort of only data mined and leaks at best, but it could very easily be true. So, you know.
More importantly, how did everyone miss the soul scar that Uther had? Why didn't he just, like, when he was talking to the matriarch or whatever her face was, the one that got screwed, like, hit by Anduin, well, by jailer Anduin, why, like, she's like, oh, like, you know, the pain will subside, whatever. It's like, will this subside? And it's like, oh my god, what is that? No. He kept that to himself, only for later on, for whatever her name, Diva, whatever, to figure it out. Like, so weird, man.
To highlight that for you, so
like
that
so
you
many
guys at least knew.
so many plot holes, bro. Like, it's insane how many like small plot holes, and you can't fix it. Like, you can't just like be like, well, we didn't want to mention because otherwise the video would be a lot longer. What's wrong with you making like multiple episodes? Just make like a TV series for the expansion of like Uther's journey, like 3 episodes of Uther, 3 episodes of Sylvanas, 3 episodes of this. Like, bro, like make a fucking universe for your game already. Jesus Christ.
Of course, the Sisters of Fate being again referenced here, not the Sisters, but Fate being referenced and almost talked about by Malfurion again, as if Fate has a conscience, as if Fate can make decisions. Very, very cool. And I can't wait to dive into this. But that is just my opinion.
Because it is a cool lesson of philosophy of like if fate is like it's the whole philosophy of fate, right? Where it's like if fate is unchangeable, no matter what you do, even if you know your fate, you can't avoid it. So no matter what path you'll take, eventually you will come across the path that you were fated for, and that's where you'll end up. So it doesn't even matter how much you try to fight fate, fate will always find a way to like make you do its bidding. Yeah, okay. Like that's an interesting philosophy. I can't wait till we fight the Sisters of Fate in WoW. And all you gotta do for Fate is just beat it up. I don't even know how you would make that fight work. How would you fight actual Fate? And that has to be an end of expansion battle, because after that the consequences are like, you know, universe changing, not something you can do in a patch. Then again, we did get the Nyalotha patch, so when we freed N'Zoth, so it's hard to say, you know. Nyalotha should have been an expansion of its own, straight up.
From you, are you looking forward to this? Is this a story that you would love to dive into? Let me know in the comment section down below.
100%.
How do you feel about Malfurion potentially dying in Dragonflight? Is this
I'm gonna write a
for you?
comment
Are
for
you
sure.
very angry, or are you fine with it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed the speculation and talk around it. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Hey, you're forgiven for that. Well, let's just pretend this never happened. To all of the patrons, Twitch subs, and YouTube channel.
Yep. Alright. About Malfurion. honestly, just without honestly, couldn't care less. The guy being useless since Firelands, basically. Heck. He is so weak. He lost to Xavius. Regarding the whole fate line, I'd love for it to be expanded on, but only when Blizz hires patent writers and philosophy majors to even tackle such existence. Yep, that's pretty much it. How to win back the hearts of players. Give main characters interesting arcs. Blizzard. Let's kill off all old characters. Yeah, that's honestly, yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Yeah, we want to stray away from the Warcraft 3 Origins. And again, that's fine. There are better ways to do it, you know? Yeah, either way. Yeah, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Dislike, I don't care. Share, what downloads, like, what are the other options? Thanks. Clip, save. I don't have a join button. Subscribes. I like this video. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't a shield. It was just a nice speculation kind of thing. It's like I'm fine with that. I did unsubscribe from Accolonn though. I did. He's been really like annoying me lately with his shilliness. Anyways, yes, that's the video, and I'll see you in the next one.